FoRe.com.
Join me, Rebecca Christensen Matheson, in real time for Real Topics on Real Talk with Rebecca on FoRe.com.
Need tickets to the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo this December? Boyd Gaming's got 'em. They offer room and ticket packages that include transportation to and from the rodeo. Visit www.boydgaming.com/NFR. Boyd Gaming is riding for the brand.
All of us here at Trust Rio Silver are proud to offer a complete award lineup, from saddles, tack, and all in between. Trust Rios is your one-stop shop. Give the shop a call today to discuss your association award needs with one of our family design staff. And don't forget to shop online with us for that special gift. Our new online store features beautiful jewelry, tees, caps, and much more. Proud to be part of She's Gone Country with the CB Cowgirls. That's Trust Rio Silver, Llano, Texas. Find us on Facebook or at trustriosilver.com.
Rebecca Lawler Limited is the culmination of a lifelong dream for philanthropist and designer Rebecca Lawler. She designed her patented, unique glass heart, which is handcrafted by glass artists in Virginia. Placed in the center is a brilliant gem. The heart can be worn with the Rebecca Lawler Limited signature ribbon or an awareness ribbon of choice. To join the mission of the Hearts of Hope Foundation and add a Rebecca Lawler signature heart to your own personal style, go to RebeccaLawlerLimited.com. That's RebeccaLawler Limited.com.
She's Gone Country with the CB Cowgirls is proud to have as our charity of choice Man Up Crusade. Man Up is working in the Western world to reduce domestic violence in society and contribute to social change by promoting safe and healthy relationships. Growing up in a violent home is one of the most terrifying and traumatic experiences a child can go through. Let's work together to help those afflicted to stand and know they're not alone. Find out more at manupcrusade.com. Take a stand and break the cycle of domestic violence.
This is FoRe Radio, a media platform used to elevate voices and empower dreams.
All right, rodeo fans, it's time for She's Gone Country with the CB Cowgirls. Introducing your host, Becky Christensen, and co-host Vicki Christensen O'Shields. Presented to you by Boyd Gaming. Hey, let's ride.
Well, welcome to the show and happy Monday evening. This is your host, Becky Christensen Matheson for She's Gone Country with the CB Cowgirls. Want to welcome everybody to the show for this week's broadcast. I hope everyone had a fabulous weekend. I know I'm coming off from a super busy weekend traveling around our great west side of the United States and down to the Midwest, and it has been hectic and crazy, but we are here. It's a new week. And I just want to bring to the show my beautiful co-host and our beautiful guest co-host. So first I want to welcome to the show Vicki Christensen O'Shields. Vicki, are you there?
I am, Becky, and it has been a really busy week. You know, you've been down here in Texas covering the UC Finals, and you came directly from Colorado Springs. And, of course, we were so blessed to be there at the Pro Rodeo Hall of Fame for the 2017 induction. So it's been absolutely crazy. And I know that our lovely guest co-host, I'd like to bring her on right now, Miss Bobby Jean Olson, you've been back and forth, too, this week.
My favorite ladies, thank you again from the bottom of my heart for being a part of the show. I hope you know how much it means to me. And yes, I have been traveling back and forth, was in Albuquerque, New Mexico while you guys were at the induction for the Cowboy Hall of Fame, and I wanted to be there with everybody so bad, but I got to follow along with the pictures, and I'm just so proud of all of you for promoting the Western lifestyle and the rodeo lifestyle like you do.
Well, thank you so much, Bobby Jean and Vicki. We all wish my and all of our Aunt Vicki a most wonderful birthday. It is her birthday today, and she could have taken the night off. She went to a nice dinner with the fam, but she's here loyal with us, and Aunt Vicki, happy birthday.
Thank you so much, Becky. Thank you, Bobby Jean and Maria. It's just a blessed day, and not because it's my birthday, but because it's another day, and every day is blessed to each and every one of us. So thank you so much, ladies.
Yes, and she does share a birthday with my youngest nephew, Mr. Hank Christensen. He's celebrating his 6th birthday today. That's where I was at. I was down there with them. And so, Hank, happy birthday again from Aunt Becky and Aunt Vicky and cousin Sabrina. We love you with all of our heart. But I'm sure he's ripping into presents right now. I talked to my brother and checked in with him, and he's
when
ripping
you're 6
into
years old, that's what you do. Happy birthday, Hank.
We bought him a Pirates of the Caribbean little ship that he could run around. He tried to float it in the water in the sink, and it sunk, so he's a little disheartened about that, but he's got blasting cannonballs, so he's good. So anyway. Well, and I don't want to waste any much time because we have got a jam-packed show tonight. We have lots of, we're all about bringing our Western culture to all of those that maybe aren't familiar with the Western way of life and who we are and what we're all about, and preserving what it is that we love so much about this lifestyle. And you all, any of our loyal listeners, know that we are proud and honored to say that we voted for President Trump, and we are proud supporters of Trump. So tonight we want to bring to the show a lady with an inspiring story who's trying to be a positive force and influence in this crazy world that we're living in today, in this crazy realm that we're in. And really our whole goal and our whole hope is that somehow, some way, someone listening can take away from this how we can support one another and really be unified and support our president, support our nation to really, really, truly become great again. So I want to welcome to the show Gini Thompson of Cowgirls For Trump. Gini, are you there?
Yes. Hi. Thank you for having me. And my last name's Thompson.
Thompson, I'm sorry. What did I say? Bear
Thomas.
with me. I'm coming off of a cold.
Absolutely fine.
Yes. So Gini, so Gini Thompson, I apologize. My apologies for mispronouncing your name. You are with Cowgirls For Trump. You created this foundation, and you also are a holistic healer of horses and humans, and you just have quite a passion for the Western world, and you've been on quite a journey. So I would love for you to start the show off by just sharing a little bit about your story and how Cowgirls For Trump came to fruition.
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you for having me, and happy birthday to you, Vicki. All of us Leos in August, we're all celebrating our birthdays. So it's been a great month.
Happy birthday to you.
And thank you so much. My passion for life has always been, I would say, almost over dramatic. But this is what's kept me going. I've had a very strong faith in God and spirit. And since I was an 8-year-old girl, now I didn't know per se what I was doing. I would if one of my horses had a bump or something on their leg or they weren't feeling good, because I've been showing and riding and barrel racing since I was a little tiny girl. So my family never really had, back then a whole lot of money, and we didn't have top vets back then. So I would just lay my hands on them, and I would say, somebody would ask me, what are you doing? Oh, I'm fixing her. That's all I could tell you because I didn't know the difference. And as I grew up, I continued riding, training. I just loved the Western way of life. And most of the time I was out doing it by myself. Now, I began my own company back in 1984, and it was tanning salons. It's a small chain of tanning salons, and I built them up gradually. A lot of hard work, a lot of grit, and but I was so inspired because I've always enjoyed the sun, and it just always made me feel so alive. And then when I got into the industry, I began doing a lot of studying. I was on a lot of radio shows and interviews back then. That was, pretty much got popular back in the early 90s. I was so successful, and I didn't have a lot of pride or a lot of proudness, but I was really happy. And that company that I worked very hard for supplied for employees, so people got jobs. They loved it. The gals loved working there. I'm actually a very easygoing boss. And I was very successful until and I'll tell you what, my company made it through all those other recessions we had. I didn't even know we had recessions. I was really that successful. But I worked, and I worked at it. The taxes started getting heavier. The regulations started becoming heavier, but nothing to the extent that I experienced beginning in 2008, the winter between 2007 and 2008. I noticed a significant difference. I noticed clients coming in and talking about how their jobs were in jeopardy, or the businesses that they owned were in jeopardy. They were losing money. They couldn't, they were having a hard time paying taxes, employee wages, workers' compensation, and I knew all this. But as you're seeing it unfold, you start becoming just as fearful. You're kind of pulled into that vortex of fear. Now, I had a wonderful life. I built my own ranch, very small ranch. It was only 7 acres, but it was my ranch. I had my home. I had top rodeo horses. I was out hitting the road as far as I could go for a weekend or 3 or 4 days. And then, of course, I had a company I had to come back to, so I never could really get down the big road. But I stuck around in California, did a little bit of Nevada and Arizona, and had a great time. Just loved my life. And then it hit. One day you are really excited about your life. The next day you don't have any clients. One day there's a line out the door. The next day there's none. And, of course, when you've got multiple stores, you're scrambling. And so in the end of all of that trauma, and during that time I was completely shocked. One of my girlfriends called me one day and said, "Turn on the TV." And I turned it on, and there's President Obama speaking about tanning salons and how we need to regulate them and basically just destroy them off the face of the earth. That tanning is causing cancer, it's causing this, it's causing that. And I just fell off my chair. I'm like, oh, dear God, could it get any worse? I think that was in 2009, late 2009 when he spoke. So the little bit of clients that I had that I was hanging on to, they were dropping. So the
now,
propaganda.
Ginny,
go ahead.
Was that when they started doing the regulating of the tanning, where if you were under 18, it was illegal?
Yes, but they took it to the point of yes, and the parents, yes, it was at the same time, but it was also the pharmaceutical talk about skin cancer, and
Gotcha.
and there's been, in fact, I have literature, data, and facts out of 32 years that tanning is not the cause of skin cancer per se. It's the things that we put on our skin, and it's how long are we going to sit out there or in a tanning booth. Well, tanning booths are regulated anyway. So
Right.
Well, so
I just remember because, my son's girlfriend's family went through a very similar situation up here in the Northwest for the exact same reason. So it hit home when I was reading about that, because she too suffered quite a loss.
But
big
Becky,
time.
Yes?
Becky and Jenny, this is Vicki, and I really think that there were, I really think there's a general consensus that, pardon me, during that period of time, there were many small businesses that suffered from over-regulation. I think this is the story we're getting to, and I know that all of us, work very hard. And being a single woman in business for herself for many years, I thoroughly understand that. But when the regulations hit, they hit so much of our nation very hard for small business. And is that the correct consensus, Jenny?
Absolutely. My clients had their own companies. They worked for other companies. Some were welders. Some were glass. Some worked for glass companies, dog food companies, all different trades. Some people had their own wine stores. Gone. I mean, it was frightening. It just, your hometown turns into a ghost town. That's what was frightening.
And Ginny, where at in California do you currently reside, and where were you when you owned the business?
I grew up on the high desert in Apple Valley, so my stores were all, kind of scattered about the high desert. And the high desert itself took a big hit. Now, excuse me, in 2013, I met the love of my life in the spring of 2013. And now, to get to the story, we'll come back. But he passed away Christmas, 2 days before Christmas in 2014. He died of cancer. And so that was horribly traumatic for me. But my point being is he was a lawyer and a judge and my cowboy, and his business dropped. Now, it took them down in Ventura, and it's kind of a ritzy area. It took their businesses about 3 years later, 2 years later, to really tank. So it was still moving through California like a domino effect. It just started with, it just started with your basic middle America, hardworking, tax-paying citizen, and then it moved finally, sadly enough, into the more prominent industries, which it was devastating. It still is. California.
Jeannie, this is Bobby Jean, and like Aunt Vicki said, even with myself being a small business owner, I know it affected everyone. Like you are saying, it really affected everybody, and there's so many of us that lost almost everything, had to sell off things just to try to get back. And if we can sit back and look back for a moment and really be thankful that there wasn't more that we lost, that this was really kind of a little check in to say, hey, wait a minute, let's don't take things for granted, and it can be gone at any time. Yeah.
Well, and Jenny, the thing that I thought is really fascinating, this is Becky, about your story and you in general is that, and we're finding more and more as the months progress, is like everyone has said, everybody was hit. I lived and work in the mortgage industry, so when that housing market hit in 08 and 09 and all that, I mean, it did. And what amazes me about you is that you're down there in Southern California, you're a cowgirl, you're a business owner, you're a woman, and you live in a very, very, and I'm just going to say liberal state. That, I mean, they are very liberal in California, but yet you stood as a cowgirl, and you're doing Cowgirls for Trump. So tie this all together for us and how that all came about.
Absolutely. You know, as I went through, I call it my night of the soul. As I went through it, becoming literally completely homeless. Losing my ranch just came on so fast, and that's a whole different story. It had to do with the mortgage company, but nevertheless, I had to leave. And I had 4 horses, 2 dogs, So we took the trailer and moved it over to another ranch, whom I thought was a friend. Turns out he was Mexican mafia. Unbeknownst to me, here I am, unloaded, parked, still going back and forth to my company because my retirement, I sunk back into the company to try to keep the doors open. Unbeknownst to us business owners, we didn't know it was going to carry on this many years. It's always like, oh, it's just a bad year. So I went through trauma after trauma. I moved 11 times during all of this. I have been attacked. I have seen the dark side of life that I never even honestly knew existed. I have humbled myself to a place that I can feel that empathy for everyone on this planet. I really can. And before I was just business-minded, I was having fun, I was loving life. So when you go through something like that, it changes you. It really changes you. I lost all my friends, which I thought were my friends, but, you know, as you get through it, you find out, well, guess they really weren't friends. So it became a very small little universe for me, frightening. So I pick up and I moved to Arizona, and that's when I began to study. I called a college. They were actually in Northern California, and I'm living in Arizona. I explained to them. I was humiliated. I didn't really want to tell the whole story. And the CEO of the school, she says, I said, I couldn't possibly park my horse trailer on your campus with horses there. I need you to ship me my books. So I decided to go back to school, reinvent myself, and I was fortunate, though. Not everybody's fortunate. I had something to fall back on, something that I knew, something that I had faith in, something that I was already familiar in. Not too many people have that. And the senior citizens, you know, that what's inspired me to do what I'm doing, I have come across and met hundreds of people, even in my small little world, that have lost it all, living in their cars, living in riverbeds. These were people that, okay, for example, I was making anywhere from $350,000 a year on a good year, $750,000. It was when we were talking about regulations and taxes, that's where it all went. Right back to the state of California, right back to the Fed. I was struggling even at my wealthiest moments. So that was a tough one. But when the president was voted in, that's when the big money pulled. They pulled their money back and they said, oh, no. And that's what created this domino effect of everybody losing their jobs. Companies downsized. And so my inspiration was when Donald Trump first announced he was going to run. I already knew he was going to run. And I remember talking to my late fiance, and I asked him in 2013, if Donald Trump ran for president, would you vote for him? He says, heck yes. And I said, yeah, me too. And so from that moment on, and then watching it unfold, watching the debates unfold, watching what's going on the left, watching what's going on, there was a movement. And I felt that movement. I was so inspired because, for one thing, our president won this election against all odds. I came out of literally being killed on 2 occasions at that racehorse ranch that I was paying rent to. There was a noose hanging out there on the lamppost for me. They were playing OK Corral, shooting bullets back and forth, whizzing by my trailer at night. Next thing you know, I'm threatened, and I'm running down the riverbed with 4 horses and 2 dogs in tow for my life. So I have experience. And then I rented a little house. I was attacked by a landlord. It was just on.
Now, are these all
on.
is this because of them knowing your position with
yes.
politically and being a cowgirl and just basically, I would say, making the assumptions that because you're a cowgirl and Western and for Trump, that you were obviously, they were basically saying, oh, you're what everybody seems to be saying on the other side is they automatically think you're racist.
Absolutely.
By the way, let me just tell you, and I told the girls before the show went on the air, I just want to say it loud and proud. I have not watched the news very often since the election because of everything that's so phony and fake. But being down at the UC finals, being down in the heart of Texas, being down in the heart of the roping industry and the Western world, I saw more diversity than probably anyone will ever see watching the news. While they're dealing with the riots going across all these different, areas, I'm seeing the diversity in the Western world. There's African Americans, there's Hispanics, there's whites, they're all down there roping together, being unified, being one, and enjoying the Western way of life because that's what their passion is, and it's a good and it's a pure culture. And I just want to say, you know what? There's no racism going on down there at the UC Finals and in the Western world. We are good.
Becky, this is Vicki, and I can assure you that that is the way it is. And I think all of us as, God's children, we want to be united. We want to be able to work together, live together in harmony, and enjoy the blessings of our life's work, our hands. We all work hard, and I just, your story is so special. And Cowgirls for Trump is a very special movement. Can you share with our audience how others can become involved and share what you do, Jenny?
I would love to. We are looking for as many gals, young girls. My friend Judy is 72 and she still rides. She's still kicking and she's a Cowgirl for Trump. We love our Western heritage. We love what we're representing. My inspiration came directly from the president. When somebody would ask me, hey, who are you voting for? I would just smile and go, I'm a Trump girl. That's why the slogan came out that way. Now, we are in the middle of designing our latest logo on the shirts, but we're going to always carry the I'm a Trump girl shirts as well. And that's for anyone, even if they feel funny about not being a cowgirl. But anybody can become a Cowgirl for Trump. All you got to do is order a T-shirt, wear it, put a hat on, send us a photograph, and we will put your name on our list as one of our Cowgirls for Trump. And we're hoping to grow this group to a very large number. I don't want to put an end number on it, but we're hoping to get it very large because a lot of that money, now after we pay cost, of course, all these costs are coming out of my pocket. So once those costs have been coming back, then the money is going to be dispersed. And we are going to be out there literally pounding the ground for ranchers that lost their butts, people that lost vehicles, homes, horses, cattle. It doesn't really matter to me because there's so many single gals out there that are working. I just talked to one lady just the other day off of Twitter. She's working 4 jobs a day. I don't know how she does it. And she's 57. I just turned 60. I can only imagine what it is to work 4 jobs a day at my age. Oh, good Lord. So these people are really trying. They're trying, and they're not giving up. And what I really admire about them, most of the ones that I have talked to, come across, they're not on any state assistance. I'm not on any state assistance. I've been offered numerous times, why don't you get food stamps? No, that's okay. It's not that I'm too proud. I don't want to get mushy-minded. You know what I mean? I don't want to become
no, there's a difference between being proud and being having gumption, I guess is the word I'm looking for. I think it's gumption. I think it's just a work ethic that's instilled in us that until there's no other options left, you go and you do what you have to do to survive.
Absolutely.
When we cowgirl up, we work our booties off, we keep our faith, keep our family close, and we do the right thing, treating others the way we want to be treated.
Amen. Amen. Well,
Amen to that.
You've got a big call that you are putting out there to all the women, and I think it's important right now because I know that even though we're just 7 months into the election, I have such an urgency to be praying for our president all the time and his family because that's why I don't watch the news. It's why I don't fall into everything that's going on because I know that behind the scenes he's keeping his word. He's doing what he said he's going to do, and he's not. I mean, he's still Donald Trump, and that's okay. Everybody has a right to be themselves, even in the political office. And you know what? We just take it as it is. But he is doing what he says he's going to do. And I think right now with your call and what you're trying to do, I think the next, he's got this 4 years, but we really need to be praying and interceding and standing up for him because we want him for another 4. We want him to have the full 8. And it's a war, and it's more than just flesh and blood. It's spirits and principalities, and I don't even want to get into all that. But we all need to stand up and be Cowgirls for Trump, in my opinion. So I love what you're doing. And is there ways to find out more about you? Could you tell our listeners about, where to find you on Facebook or your social media or email or websites? What's available out there for them to find you?
Absolutely. Pretty simple. On Facebook, it's Cowgirls and then FoR, Trump, on Facebook. So it's spelled out, Cowgirls for Trump. On Facebook, we also have a group, Cowgirls for Trump, on Facebook. So we want everybody to like us, follow us, share, and join our group and keep resending every post, every ad. Spread the word. Tell your mothers, your grandmothers, your daughters, your granddaughters, and all your friends, because this is really something that I believe, instead of us out there pushing a women's group that is just unbelievably horrific in some areas, I want a women's group that is pushing something for humanity, doing something out of the heart. And on Twitter, we are on Twitter, and it's at Cowgirls with a number 4, Trump. And then the website is cowgirlsfortrump.com. They're all very simple to get to. You can find us everywhere. I spend most of my days learning how to post, learning how to tweet, and in fact, we've been blocked, by the way, twice on Facebook now. I can't even repost my own Healing Horses and Humans business. That's pretty sad. So I've been blocked by Facebook just for being a Trumper. Yeah.
Well, we'll connect with you afterwards, later this week or the next week, because I'd like to talk about maybe getting some of your shirts ordered in bulk so that we can take them to Vegas with us for the national finals. But we'll be getting our shirts, and, a half hour goes so fast. So you guys make sure you go check out our resources that are available so you can find out more about our organization, spread the word. And, Ginny, we just want to say thank you so much for joining us tonight. We love what you're doing. You are doing, you are really wearing your heart on your sleeve, so to speak. And I think it's really great that you're showing your passion and your support for our president and for women and business owners and those homelessness and the vets. I mean, somebody needs to be their voice. So thank you for sharing your voice and being a voice for those that don't get to speak. So I'm going to say goodnight. I'm going to turn it over to my Aunt Vicki and Bobby Jean to close it out, and we will see you guys all next week on She's Gone Country with CB Cowgirls. Aunt Vicki, take it away.
Well, I tell you what, Becky, Bobby Jean, I'll let you go ahead and say goodnight first, and then I'll follow up right behind you.
Well, I just want to say thank you so much for your voice, for standing up for so many and doing what you're doing. What a strong, beautiful leader you are, and we truly appreciate everything you're doing. And yes, we will be promoting your T-shirts. I'm a Trump girl and trying to do all that we can do here for you as well. Keep up the great work. God bless you, and hopefully we'll see you in Vegas.
I love all of you. Thank you so much.
Well, Jenny, this is Vicki, and just to echo what Becky and Bobby Jean said, I know Maria, our producer, we're honored to have you with us here this evening, and thank you so much for opening up your heart and sharing your story, because there are so many women, and all of us can learn from each other, and it's so important, and we're thankful for a president that wants to make America great again, and we are thankful for this evening. Jenny, God bless you, and listeners, we're going to close out with our favorite cowgirl from Mason, Texas, Miss Crystal Lyons, and a little cowgirl logic. Good night, everyone.
When our sons were in 4-H, we were out picking out sheep to bring home and feed and halter break, and do the whole overall sheep showing thing. Well, this one time we got them unloaded and in their pens, all except for one. It got loose and began frantically running around looking for its buds. We got around it and began aiming it in the right direction, but it's like sheep take on this attitude of, if you want me to go this way, then that must be the way I don't want to go. Well, she goes under the board fence and gets out in the pasture with the horses. Oh, great. The horses caught sight of the ewe, and it was like a herd of cats going after a mouse.
The ewe is darting and diving, and we're running around, arms waving, shouting at one another, huffing and puffing. Well, all ended well. The sheep got exercise. We got exercise. The horses were entertained as well as the neighbors, I'm sure. The more I hang around sheep, the more I feel insulted that that's what God called his people. Why sheep? I think I know. The moment we feel God's prodding to move us in a certain direction, we immediately take on the attitude that if God wants me to go that way, then I'm sure I won't like it. So we run around in our circles of despair, barely escaping flying hooves coming our way, and then if we don't get killed in the process, we finally poop out and welcome the Savior, the great shepherd, to step in and deliver us. He'll pick us up from where we are and carry us to where we should be, and would have been already if we hadn't been so bullheaded. Oh, the life of sheep. Though you and I would like to think of ourselves as other than, I think our wool is definitely showing. This is Crystal Lyons, and you're listening to Cowgirl Logic.
Tres Rios Silver was founded in 1997. Our goal today remains the same as it was back then, to provide you, our customer, with a quality custom buckle at an affordable price. From 1 to 100, our buckles are all made one at a time by hand. Our only limit is your imagination. Give us a call today at 800-550-7535 and let us help you design your next trophy buckle. That's Tres Rios Silver, Llano, Texas. Find us on Facebook or at TresRiosSilver.com. Proud to be part of She's Gone Country with the CB Cowgirls.
In today's busy world, it's nice to know that help is just a moment away. Andrea at Rodeo Spot Marketing is your one-stop shop. Full-service web and graphic design service, along with photo projects, printing services, marketing, and promotional. Let their staff take the stress off you and put a smile on your face. Always creative, always competitive priced, always working for you. That's Rodeo Spot Marketing. Find them at rodeospot.com. Tell Andrea the CB Cowgirls sent you.
American Hat Company is known throughout the world as the hat preferred by rodeo champions, ranchers, everyday cowboys, cowgirls, and rodeo fans. From the arena to the boardroom, no one does it better. Handmade in Bowie, Texas, American hats are made with tradition in the old-fashioned way. From the finest in felts to the best in straws, there is an American hat for every occasion. The CB Cowgirls are proud to have our ambassadors wearing the #1 hat in the world. Thank you, American Hat. Find your own American hat at your favorite retailer. American Hats, handcrafted since 1915.
Need tickets to the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo this December? Boyd Gaming's got them. They offer room and ticket packages that include transportation to and from the rodeo. Visit www.boydgaming.com/NFR. Boyd Gaming is riding for the brand.
Join me, Rebecca Christensen Matheson, in real time for real topics on Real Talk with Rebecca on FoReRadio.com.
FoReRadio.com.